Welcome to the Waldorf Astoria Wailea. Let's go explore. In today's video, we're exploring Grand Wailea, a Waldorf Astoria Resort in Maui. One big favor before we dive in is to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you like content like this. Welcome into the standard room with the chapel side view. Let's take a look at the view. What's really nice is that there is a balcony where you can sit and relax. Right there is a chapel, beautiful ocean right behind. On the left is the main building. Pretty cool space. Chair's pretty comfy. Being around, the room itself is pretty standard. So this is a workstation here where we also had a pizza, king bed. All of the lights are manual. You do have to go around and turn each one on and off. Over here is the closet. What's really interesting about this property that it's not filled with a lot of amenities. So most beach resort properties will have a beach bag that you can take or sometimes slippers. None of that here. What is nice is the coffee machine. So this is like the premium Nespresso machine, which is pretty cool. The room does have a mini fridge. Along with the amenity fee, you are supposed to get 2 path waters in here. When we came in, there was not any path water, so we did have to request it at the front desk. So yeah, another mishap in a luxury property. And over here is a bathroom. So very large tub, shower, and single sink, and toilets over there. Cool, and that wraps the tour. Let's go explore. The Grand Wailea is a huge property. There's a lot of different wings to the property where the rooms are located. During our stay, we had one room in the chapel wing, and this is currently in the Lagoon wing. For dining, you have a few options. The newest addition is Nobu, which is on the 3rd floor in the main building. There's also Hawaiian fine dining, which is Humuhumu. If you want oceanfront Italian, there's also a restaurant for that. Plus a grab-and-go market that's curated by Erewhon. If you want to enjoy the lagoon and beachside dining, there's Surf House and also the Grotto Bar. During our stay, we tried a lot of the restaurants on property. I think our favorite spots so far are Nobu and the Loulu market. What I like about Nobu is that you know what to expect just because they've standardized the whole process and the experience. Menu, it's like you know what the signature dishes are, and each time you go to a Nobu, regardless of where you are in the world, they have the recipe down and the cooking techniques down. They trained very well. The value pick for the property is definitely the market. You can find a wide range of food here, from pizzas to poke bowls and sandwiches, plus some soft serve ice cream. A bit of a premium still, but if you wanted to stay on property, that would be the main dining option I would consider. But if you want to go somewhere else, there is a shopping center about 5 minutes down the beach. All right, after a long day of travel and running around, it's finally time for lunch. We decided to eat on property since we do have a $50 one-time use food and beverage credit, and that excludes Nobu. There are limited options for lunch, so we are here at Surf House and enjoying the poolside view. The items we ordered are the ahi poke nachos. So on the bottom are wonton chips, and then poke on top with the spicy mayo. And then Sebastian ordered the lobster salad sandwich. Let's try the nachos. It's not bad. A bit pricey, but you are in a resort, so it's just $28. It's okay. Not the best poke I've had. You can probably go off property and find something a little better, but in order to use the credit, that's what we're doing. And let's try the sandwich. It's okay. Good enough to fill me up, and I'm okay with it. In terms of location, the Waldorf is located in Wailea Beach, and there's a ton of resorts here along with some shops. The shops range from little souvenirs, smoothies, and luxury shops. You can basically walk along the beachfront until you hit the Marriott and then go up the stairs and find the shops here if you want to explore a bit. There's also some golf courses in the area. If I did play golf, it would probably be on my list to do, but I don't. One good thing compared to other parts of the island is that Wailea Beach is actually swimmable. So it's not like super rocky and there's no like red flag saying don't get in the water. You are still at your own risk because there's not lifeguards on duty, but it's more friendly for doing beach and swimming activities. This smoothie is actually really good. Island vintage coffee. This is basically dragon fruit, guava, pineapple, mango, fresh pressed juice, and coconut milk. Not too sweet and yeah, pretty good fruit smoothie. First item on the list is the yellowtail jalapeno. This is sashimi style. Yellowtail, ponzu sauce, and some jalapeno on top. Cheers. Delicious, and the jalapeno definitely gives it the spicy kick. The next item is a hot one, and it's the rock shrimp tempura with creamy spicy sauce. Decent sized bowl of shrimp tempura, and underneath is a bed of lettuce, so make sure to get one of each in each bite. Tempura is nice, crispy, light, spiciness isn't overpowering, and goes well with lettuce. Yep, definitely recommend. Next up is the famous black cod miso. Let's cut into it. Nice and flaky, perfectly baked, and look at that miso glaze. It's cooked perfectly and it's definitely the signature dish here. So the can't miss dish is this one. Probably the best black cod miso I've ever had. The last dish is dessert. It's a Kona coffee tres leches cake, and we also have a side of vanilla gelato as a bonus. This looks really good. Excited to dive in. I'm going to try it by itself first and then add a scoop of gelato. It's nice and light, kind of creamy, and the coffee isn't overpowering at all. It actually complements it really well.
Thank you very much.
That is so good. If you're here and you have room for dessert, definitely get the tres leches. Flavors go really well together, and it's not a heavy dessert. Probably one of my favorite desserts. I'll wrap up here and see you in a bit. Good morning, it's brunch time. By brunch, I mean it's 11:37, so technically lunch. Decided to go to the market and try one of the poke bowls. On this property, there's not a dedicated breakfast credit. So if you are a Hilton Diamond member, then you get a food and beverage credit, which is $25 per person per night, up to 2 people. So together with 2 people we have, it's $50 food and beverage, which you can decide to use breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and everything is included except for Nobu. The salmon poke bowl was $25. Let's try it out. It is cooked salmon though. It's all right. It looks good. I do like that it came with the chips, but $24 is on the more expensive side. It's also worth noting that the market is curated by Erewhon, and if you don't know what Erewhon is, a super bougie, maybe even one of the bougiest supermarkets in the world, but it's notorious for overpriced but high quality curated items. Anything that you find in the market is going to be at a premium. So what do you think?
Wish it was raw poke, but chips are really good.
Yeah, I think it's an okay option if you're looking to use a food and beverage credit. But if you're paying out of pocket, maybe walk a few minutes to the mall and you might get some better options. We booked a stay using Hilton free night certificates from the credit cards. One really nice thing about using free night certificates or points is that the $55 per day resort fee is waived. If you were to book with cash, then you would be subject to the resort fee. If you want to learn more about credit cards that earn Hilton points, I'll leave a link down in the description box below. Using those links really helps support the channel, so thank you in advance. After exploring the property and inquiring about some of these perks, I would say that 3 of them are not really perks, but more of an upsell. An example is a one-time 45-minute photography session. Although the photographer taking pictures of you is complimentary, if you actually want copies of the photos, the packages start at $600. Same thing with the scuba and snorkel lessons. The introductory scuba class takes place in the 10-foot pool where you can get used to some of the scuba equipment, and that is in turn to upsell you into buying a lesson. It's kind of things like that that kind of make me wonder, is it really considered a perk and should it really be included in a resort fee? Maybe that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Welcome in to the standard room with a lagoon view. Let's take a look. There's a nice spacious balcony and This is the swimming pool lagoon. What's really nice about the property is that it's kind of like a mini water park. So you can see kids swimming, the whole network of pools and slides that go into it. The slides do turn off at 5 p.m. Chairs aren't bad. It can get a bit noisy between the blend of music and just noise in general. Walking back inside, be sure to close the door, otherwise the AC will automatically turn off. This one's a nice work area. It's kind of an awkward height for the chair and the table. So if you were to put a laptop here, it's not really like ergonomic. Ooh, this is a stiff couch and it is a pull-out bed. Over here is the king-size bed, nice and comfy. These drawers are all empty and it's for storage. Pretty decent sized TV. Over here is the minibar area, and by minibar, I mean coffee station. There is an espresso machine and Nespresso pods, the upgraded ones, so these are like the fancy pods. No complimentary tea. Down here is a fridge, and there are 2 path waters, which are included in your resort fee. These are one time regardless of how long your stay is, and the point is you can use them as refillable water bottles on property. More storage here. So unlike other properties, there's no like paid component to the minibar. Behind this door is the bathroom. It's really spacious. I feel like they could have installed a double vanity here, but it is a single. All the amenities are white labels specifically for this hotel. Yeah, there's not really a brand on it. Generic. What's really nice, especially since Sebastian burns a lot, is that they do provide after sun cooling gel in room. However, they don't provide complimentary sunscreen, so you can purchase that at the convenience store. This one is moisturizer. Pool's the bathtub is huge with plenty of room. They do provide complimentary bath salts. And if bathtubs aren't your thing, there is a shower. And if you flip it around, the toilet is in here. And finally, we have the closet. Plenty of hangers, bathrobes, safe, and iron are going to be in here. In case you're curious where we are in the Lagoon wing, so it's located kind of in the middle of the property. That's why the pools are literally right in front of us, and these are the standard size rooms. So I guess the only bigger ones would be like this one and maybe this one, but I think that's due to the shape. Yeah, plenty of standard rooms to go around. All right, and that wraps up the room tour. Let's go check out the Lagoon. Another highlight of the property is the lagoon area. So it's kind of like a mini water park on the resort. Lots of fun slides, there's a lazy river, and if you're feeling adventurous, there is a Tarzan swing, which Sebastian demonstrated here, plus a lava slide. You do have to be a registered hotel guest in order to enjoy the amenities, and each day, depending on how long your stay is, you'll receive a wristband. I think we went through 3 different colored wristbands during our stay. The pool concierge is also where you can get beach towels. Chairs are on a first-come, first-served basis, and the cabanas are available for rent. We also have direct access to the beach on property, and I heard on some days the snorkeling is really good. On the day that Sebastian went out, we didn't really see that many fish. The beach chairs are also available for rent, and that's $75 for a half day. Personally, I would stick to the lazy river and some of the slides because they're pretty fun. If you want a calmer experience, then there is a main pool where the dolphin fountain is. Right next to that is where luau's are going to take place, and next to that is the chapel, which is a really nice area, great for sunset photography. If you forget anything like a swimsuit or you need some sunscreen, then there are a bunch of shops on property. So there's a Tommy Bahama, I think a store that sells Lululemon, and then some swim shops as well. It's dinner time and we're at the Hawaiian restaurant. It's a really long name. I can't pronounce it correctly, so I'm just gonna talk by the shortcut, which is Humuhumu, and I'll put the rest of the name on screen. So one of the signature dishes is a misoyaki Chilean sea bass, which is what I got, and it comes with a side of squash. Let's dive in. Sea bass is perfectly cooked, but it is more on the expensive side, so it really depends on what you're looking for. If I had a choice, I'd probably pick going to Nobu because, ironically, the miso cod over there is cheaper, and I think the portion size over there is also bigger, which is very ironic. Okay, let's see what Seb thinks of the sea bass.
I mean, it's still good. The problem is when you compare it to other options, the fact that Nobu was bigger for cheaper and tasted better that doesn't mean this isn't good. So that's the hard thing, right? Like Nobu is like A or S tier. This is probably A tier, but when you compare them, it's tough.
Yeah, the price point is tough.
Price point and the fact that it's half the size of the Nobu one.
Let's try some subs pork chop. The pork chop's very juicy. It has a nice like crust on it, and it's not dry at all. Good flavors, and the portion size is actually really big. I think if you're looking for like a value, especially if you have a guy who eats significantly more than you, then the pork chop is the way to go. Let's end the meal on a sweet note with dessert. This is the famous mud pie. Pretty good. If you haven't had mud pie before, it's kind of like digging into an ice cream cake, but it's a lot lighter than actual ice cream. The bottom crust is also like Oreo ice cream, and there is actual ice cream on top. Perfect dessert for sharing. I'll wrap up here and see you in a bit. In case you're curious about the name of the restaurant, it's actually a fish. So it's this guy right here. Humuhumunukunukuāpuaʻa. I probably said it incorrectly, but that was my one attempt.
Humuhumunukunukuāpuaʻa.
I'm just gonna go with Humuhumu. All right, it's time to go on a side quest before going to sleep. These PAF bottles that they provide, which you're supposed to refill to be sustainable. But the problem is that the water refill stations are very sparse on this property. So normally a resort or any hotel property that has refillable water bottles, they'll have like a water station on each floor, which is what we've experienced in the past and is pretty normal. This is a map of the property, and according to the key, the water droplet is where all the water stations are. Our wing is B6 right here. There is not a water station. The closest one is B5 or the lobby. You have to walk all the way back to the lobby in order to find the water refill stations. So even the chapel wing, which we were in the previous night, does not have a water station. I feel like they cheaped out on water stations here, and it should be in each wing and each floor, or at least at a bare minimum, one in each wing.
Each wing, each floor makes sense, but the elevator is generally good.
Yeah.
Spot.
Usually like where the ice or elevator is. There's room for improvement. It's lunchtime and we decided to get one more meal before checking out. We are at Olivine. This is the Italian restaurant on property. What's ironic is the price. Ordering a pizza here is cheaper than ordering it at the market. This is Zuccola Squash Blossom Pizza. It has mozzarella macadamia nut, pesto, local hot honey, and pepper. It's $29. Another example is the mushroom pizza on here. It's $28 as opposed to $30-something at the market. I ordered the grilled shrimp pasta, and what's nice is that the spa does curate menu items at each restaurant to be like the healthy, health-conscious item. So that's what the shrimp pasta is. Right off the bat, these all look great. Let me try some of the pasta. That's pretty good. Nice, bouncy, al dente, and you can tell the pasta is house-made and fresh. Very light in flavor, which I also like. So it's pesto and herbs. A little light on the shrimp though, so the dish only comes with 2 shrimp. Wish there were maybe like 4 or 5. Oh wait, 3. There's only 3 shrimps in here. Going fishing right now. So there are only 3 shrimps in this pasta. I wish there were maybe 2 more to make it 5. What is that, like $10 per shrimp plus pasta? But taste-wise, it tastes great. Shrimp is nice and bouncy, maybe a minute overcooked, but overall this is a solid dish. Let's dive into the pizza. Nice thin crust. The flavors go really well together. It's a little spicy from the peppers, and there's a sweetness from the honey, and like the cheesiness. I'm usually not a fan of squash. Pleasantly surprised. It's not your typical fixed squash. It's like roasted squash on here. Yeah, this is a very unique pizza and I highly recommend it. I'm going to wrap up here and see you in a bit. These are the shops at Grand Wailea. And one pro tip, if you have Hilton Resort credits that you want to use but not sure what to use them on, is that all of these shops are billable to the room. Sebastian ended up being the winner here. One of the boutique shops does have a lot of athleisure wear. So if you like Lululemon, Vori, Alo, this is your go-to shop. Prices are not marked up, it's MSRP. So that was a nice surprise. There's also a Tommy Bahama here, boutique of swimwear, and then right behind is going to be all of the co-branded merch in that boutique. back there. Good way to use the rest of your resort credits if you don't want to spend it on food, or if you're here on points and you have the card that offers resort credit.
For example, license to train to 60, normally standard pricing, non-sale, non-colors. Here, same price.
Yeah, somehow Sebastian ended up being the winner of the shopping spree. Not me. Overall, the Grand Wailea is an interesting experience. The hard product itself is pretty good, so the rooms are nice and spacious. I love that each room does have a unique view, and it's a good view regardless of where you are. The Lagoon area is great with a nice variety of slides and the lazy river. However, the part that needs improvement are the amenities, especially if you are paying the daily resort fee, which we weren't since it was waived for us. But I think for people who are paying cash, I would feel a little ripped off. Compared to the other Waldorf Astorias that we visited around the world, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. The first one is the check-in experience. There weren't enough people working the check-in desk, and I think it took over 15 minutes for people waiting in line in order to get checked in. Also, for a luxury hotel, and especially if you have high-tier status with them, no one was offered a welcome drink at all. Most beach properties that also charge a resort fee have some type of beach bag that you can take home or at least borrow in the room, which this property doesn't have, which was very interesting to observe. Future Mandy here just checked into the Andaz Wailea, which is just a couple minutes down the street from the Grand Wailea, and I have a few more notes. The Waldorf did not provide welcome drinks at check-in, nor did they provide any welcome lays, and the Waldorf also does not provide any free goodies in the guest rooms. Plus, they also have beach bags. First impressions of the Andaz, great so far, and definitely subscribe and turn notifications on if you want to see the review in the future video. Back to past Mandy. There's also no sunscreen station at the beach stations, so they do encourage you to go buy some at the store, but they do have the after sun cooling aloe lotion in the bathroom, which is also interesting. We booked 2 nights, and during Sebastian's stay, the concierge was not proactive and did not reach out at all. However, during my stay, the concierge did text me and ask me if anything was needed, so service might be a hit or miss. Aside from Nobu and the hard product itself, I feel like there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to service and especially food quality when you're being charged a premium. Yeah, it felt like you're paying luxury prices when the service and food quality was kind of like staying at a Hilton. If you made it this far in the video, leave a sun emoji in the comments below, and I'll try to heart and respond. My question to you are, what are your thoughts on the Grand Wailea, and would you stay here or have you stayed here? Let me and everyone else know down in the comments below. See you in the next one.